Like mtu ameokoka akikuja sema mazee jana ninyonga monkey mazee. Jana mazee ni dose na dem fulani. Mazee jana acha tu hata hizo ni rahisi. Jana ni dose na bibia nani. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Wise Kenya International coming to you again from Nairobi Parklands Baptist Church. The venue is in Westlands. And this is the Spont podcast. And today we have a very important guest, VRP, all the way from atajisemea, lakini these are one of the most significant people I know in my life, actually. The people that we've worked with for quite a while, from when they were dancing to the point they went into full-on DJing, to the point when they started leading specific programs here in church, transforming stories that I would love you guys to get to hear. So, welcome, introduce yourself.
Asante. My name is DJ Ymass. Thank you, Spont Podcast, for having me. I guess this is just a by the way, but this will also go to the DJ Ymass community. So, karibuni sana. And I'm so happy to be here.
So, today I have a few questions. And for just the audience to get to understand more about who DJ Ymass is. Yeah, so starting from the point of the previous video, where he got to introduce himself, got to speak about the past experience, the past 2 years that he's had, and just to understand how he's been coping with the challenges that he's experienced through this time, and also a word of encouragement that he would have for the viewers, for DJ Ymass fans, including myself, and the person who's behind the camera there. Yeah, to all the other viewers for the Spont podcast, what were the things that you felt really put you down, and how did you get back up to this point?
Yeah. So, okay, I think majority of the people who are will be watching or listening, I'm sure the ADHD, bipolar, or the mental illness or wellness aspect is not new to many of us. So yeah, I got diagnosed with ADHD stroke bipolar. That was in 2024, which has been now a journey for me, not trying to also understand myself better, or even understand the decisions I make better. Because to be honest, I think even when I was to the DJ Ymass, the community or the Ymass Nation, they know I had another YouTube channel. So when I was honestly frustrated, especially in terms of money, or honestly in terms of money, I was like, I was seeing that this YouTube thing is not making any sense for me. Although I had good traction and stuff. So, for example, deleting the channel, which was a very abrupt decision, and with bipolar, you have super high highs and super low lows. So with those low moments, honestly, you think of you make decisions such as that. So yeah, so for me, I think with the highs is that when you get an idea, you feel you're super creative, but when things don't honestly work out the way you think they are, you try to control it, or you try to kind of just break it, or just do away with it, which is honestly not the best way to go about it. Which I'm still on the learning curve, and I'm just learning on how to cope with it. But on bipolar ADHD, yeah, when you're creative, you get super creative. You even know this is going to be a good project. For example, the 2 mixes that went viral on social, this are very good projects. So yeah, I know with the lows you go a bit low, but yeah. Yeah.
For those who don't know, when you posted the first videos before you took them down, I think, if I am not wrong, the first, especially the Afrobeat one, was close to 1 million views.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that thing, for all the TikTokers, Instagram influencers, and all that. Also for myself, how would you get to explain to people what you felt? Because there was a disconnect between what you were expecting in terms of monetary returns, and then the views. How did you handle that? Because you're not getting money, but the views are increasing.
It was honestly a lot of pressure, because because I had two mixes, the Christian R&B one and the Christian Afrobeat one. So for the R&B one, it actually got to a million views. It was about 1.1 million views. And even I had some of the artists who had featured also comment on the video and stuff like that. So I think for me, I felt it's like you're living somehow in a facade, because maybe you're getting all this traction, but in terms of money, you're really not getting anything. Because as you're doing the mixes, you know that maybe because you're doing it as a second party, you're not getting any, what do you call it, any monetary value per se. So, but yeah, I think that's just how it goes. It's not for the creative, not for me in this case now to try and figure out how else can I make money or create a monetary value around what I'm doing. So yeah, that's so we're just trying to put the one or the two and two together. That was quite hard for me. Yeah.
Okay, so another, for those who don't know, I've worked with you for quite some time. From the point where you were admitted to the point where you went quiet, to the other points where you called me abruptly, telling me where you are. But now, the question I would love you to explain to the viewers, especially because this is a Christian podcast, because sometimes the church also needs to know where they have fallen short. The church, meaning the structure and the institution, which is like, for instance, this. If it regards to the biblical narrative of it, we are the church. But now, in regards to the institution, because you are a leader in Parklands Baptist and also serving in other places, so how do you feel the church failed?
Oof. That's a very big question, to be honest. And it's also something that, in regards to that question, I also felt kind of, what's the word? I was basically also affected by the church. But the church, I feel that the church's role in this is that it's, I think how it presents Jesus is very, how the church presents Jesus is very different, and it's very important as well. Because for most churches, or for most pastors, they'll bring to you Jesus as a means to something. So I won't lie, like that year 2023 when the mixes were blowing up, I was really praying to God. I was like, I really want my stuff not to blow up. I don't want to, and not in a bad way, I just don't want to be known by the people around me, but I want to be known, let's say, like globally or elsewhere. So I feel the church's role is or was very important in the way that they presented Christ to me. And the way they also presented Christ to me was more of a means to get in somewhere. And then once you get there, you're like, this is it. There's nothing else to be found. So which also puts you in a very weird space in terms of your relationship with God. Because now you're there, then what else do you need to ask God for? And maybe you're there, but how most of top rappers say, it's lonely at the top.
Yeah.
It genuinely feels super lonely at the top. So yeah, just trying to navigate that is very tough, and especially if you also don't have a community of people, makes it even more harder. So yeah.
Before this started and now, can you say that the people you knew back then know about where you are now?
To be honest, even some of my closest friends, I told them this story when it was, because I got my diagnosis early or mid 2024. I told them these stories uko late 2024. Some of them I even told them in this year 2025. So, and some of them actually they don't even know. Because what I did, I think late of last year, just put up a post, just trying to summarize or even just share what I've been through, just in a nutshell. for people also to understand. But I'm sure most of them will be getting to know a glimpse of what happened through this video. And yeah, but most of them had not and still haven't shared with them. But hopefully they'll get to understand. And also the people who also supported me back then, they'll get to know also where I am. And yeah, hopefully just take this journey together. But yeah, it's a wonder that, yeah, honestly, I because I also felt, because when I was up there, I felt that I didn't have anyone also to share maybe the success with. And not to blame anyone, I just felt I was honestly super lonely at the top. But yeah, I think it's a very interesting uh, picture to see that even some of your friends might not know what you're going through. And yeah, I don't know how people should go about it, but yeah, I think hopefully if you're also going through it, just try share, just maybe put it out there. Hopefully there's someone who'll be able to resonate with you. But it's a very interesting dynamic.
You are prescribed medicine,
Yeah.
and then you actually decided to switch to what we call multivitamins. What was the difference? What did you notice? What was the shift? Why did you decide to change? Yeah.
So first of all, when I was having the medicines, they used to give me a very crazy side effect. I would feel, I don't know if you've had this illness before, or if you've had any mental illness. Because for me it was my first time. For me, not the side effects I used to feel, like the brain is very, it's like put into blocks. So it's even heavy in the first place, and many other side effects, feeling dizzy and stuff like that. So for me, I was like, prescribed to me. She was like, you just have this multivitamins, or I don't know what's the other supplements instead. They'll help you, so, of which they did. But I also feel in some way, because right now I'm on actual medication, I feel they helped, but they really didn't help me as time went by. Because you need something strong at least to help you, or to take you through a certain period of time. Let's say, for example, for the next 3 or 4 or even 6 months of your life, just to be on constant medication. Because later on, I don't know if you know this, but I got admitted to another hospital, which now I stayed there for a month, not on constant medication. So yeah, I feel that was the huge change. And also a change in relationships, because I'll be honest, also burnt some relationships or some bridges. For example, with the first counselor I saw, so I think it was just what do you call it, an inning of emotions. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah.
So we were talking about how you cope with
Yeah.
whatever you
Yeah.
received. Yes.
Yeah. So I honestly, I think I cope currently through the medications that I have. I also cope through listening to worship music, which has been very very helpful. Kwanza that one imesaidia sana. It has really helped a lot. And also just being around family and friends, and just being around people, and just also putting myself out there, just to make sure I'm not in this cocoon alone. Because most of the time you'll find yourself in that shell, or circumstances may try to put you in a certain space where you're just alone, which is honestly not the best way to, especially if you're trying to heal from any illness or any condition that you have. Yeah, and just to make sure it's also not, because I also try to encourage myself, just to tell myself it's not my identity. It's just a condition, but doesn't define who I am. Okay? So yeah, I think those are some of the ways I've been trying to cope, and also working out as well. Yeah, I also forgot that. Working out as well. Very helpful.
You actually look good. You look better than the last time we met.
Yeah,
I think first of all I can encourage you with a few words. Firstly, this is a really huge step for you to get to share this, especially for a man. You know, men. For a man to decide that they want to share this outside there, and the effect is mostly negative. not positive. So what I can tell you is do not have any expectation of the comments that you would receive online, because everyone is going through their own thing. You might find someone is just looking to put another person down. So when they see such a video, the first instinct might be we mwanaume asemangi kitu kama hizi, wanaume wa sharingi. Yeah, but one of the great things that I admire about your experience is your tenacity and your strength to also follow up with me to meet here. And it's not taken for granted. Yeah. So another thing is, there's something you said about it's lonely at the top. That's one thing that I can attest to, because I'm also at that season right now, where there's a lot that I am building. And one thing that I have realized is the more you go up, the more people you leave behind. But now I think one of the things I was even praying this morning and reading, you need to be very cognizant or conscious of who you are the more you keep on climbing up, because I think that will be tested a lot. It's being tested in my life right now, of who I am, not even what I do, but where do I stand, because there is literally no one to come for your aid. Ni wewe na Mungu wako na room yako. You get? So if you do not know who you are and you cannot speak that into yourself again, because sometimes you doubt, or a lot of times we doubt, but how many times do you speak life into yourself? Nasikianga faith comes by hearing, and hearing of the word of God. And it doesn't necessarily mean someone else has to come and speak to you, because when you doubt, what do you tell yourself? When your mind brings you to a specific point, for instance, like you've matured right now to the point where you can confidently sit here. Nakumbuka kuna time fulani ulikuwa niambia hata uwezi ingia church. Like things were so heated, and all of the things that you're speaking about are not happening outside of you. They're happening inside. The same thing with me. The same thing with being lonely at the top. There's a difference between being alone and being lonely. Get? When you're at the top, you are alone, because it's at the top. A few people are there. But now, being lonely is a mentality. You understand? When you niongelea story ya community, communication pia. One of the greatest things that I'm learning is to find a circle of people that I can trust to call or text and tell that mazi hapa ndo penye niko. You get? Without feeling condemnation of, guys, there is this person called Wise that has done this and this and this and this. You know, na kuna Ymass. Unajua kuna zile vitu watu wanajua juu ya internet. These are the things Ymass has accomplished and then Ymass starts telling people that he's going through this and this and this again. You get? Unakwanga nako kakitu. So you have to have a circle of people you can trust to share these things with.
I've just remembered as you're talking about that. I think also one of the things, maybe I don't know, it's like it put me down without knowing, is also some of the comments I was getting, especially with the video that was doing very well, the Christian R&B one. It was hitting like a meter plus. So because the people used to come there and then they say, oh, this is not Christian, or there's no way R&B and Christian can be together, stuff like that. So some of the comments I used to like delete them, or some of them I just let them. So I didn't know how to process that information, you get. And also on the other side, I didn't know how to process also the information that people are telling me this mix is good, blah blah blah. Maybe it's taking me through this, or my kids are even listening to it and stuff like that. So because you've not been used to that, you don't know how to handle that. So because for me, one of the things as I look back, as a retrospect in it, is telling myself, I wish I could not be on the go. I couldn't have settled, because in some way I'd also settled in that success, if I can put it that way. So I wish I could have kept it going without really focusing on the previous wins, or even the losses or whatever.
Meditating on it, yes.
So yeah, And yeah, when I'm in a place, I'm like, I just put it out. However, the number of people views it gets, bora I'm not back and forth, because I used to be back and forth. I would even put like previous content on private so that nobody sees them, because I really didn't know how to also present myself, because there are seasons where I was a dancer, seasons where I was a rap artist, and then in this season you're a DJ. So how do you bring
Mash,
all that
yes, all of
together?
them
You get?
together, yeah.
So I used to like hide other faces of my life, because I was like, maybe people won't like that face of my life. You get? But this was all in my head. So right now I'm like, whichever, man, like whether you like it or not, yeah, it's up to you.
Wow.
I guess, yeah.
Wow, you know, when you're speaking, I'm just looking at my life. You know, the word of God is a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
When you speak it, it also cuts you.
Yeah.
There's the specific things that you're saying in regards to. Okay, let's first start with the comments.
Yes.
One thing that I have realized personally in building or helping people build their brands, and also Dance Unite Africa and Wise Kenya, is people will always have things to say.
Yes.
If you don't do something, people will complain. If you do something, people will complain. People will always complain. That's one thing that I actually had to come into terms with.
Yeah.
But now this is now where that community comes. You see those few people.
Yeah.
Now, are you able to actually come to them and tell them, hey, mazejo, kuna mazizi comments mazee wase wamepost, mi zinanibo.
Yeah.
You say it as it is.
Yeah.
Kuna mse amenibo, yani ameniudhi.
Yeah.
Kwani anasema hivi. You get? For instance, that comment where you said someone was speaking about the songs R&B and the songs you're mixing together, as in they can't be together.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. You see, every single music that we have today originates from R&B.
Yeah.
People don't realize this.
Yeah.
R&B and hip-hop.
Hip-hop, yeah.
Everything that we have today, that's the influence the West has on us. You get?
Yeah.
The only difference is maybe you could decide to rename that name. You remove R&B, but Bado is still there. The history is still there, whether people like to or not.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, you need to realize there's a weight to you also understanding the history of music.
Yeah.
And you knowing where when you're mixing the musicians that sing, where do they tap from in regards to the type of other music they produce. Obviously, for instance, mse kama mi kuna time fulani manzo mimi nilikuwa na support Kanye West ile mbaya. Hata saa hii sisi, mi hata saa najua there's a lot of controversy right now happening right now. But one thing I can say for sure is one thing that we have succeeded as Christians, not believers, Christians, is chasing away people who are trying to know God. How? An artist comes, they have this knowledge about God. They want to express themselves. Instead of bringing them in to show them, you shun them out, you rebuke them, and then they leave. You get? And at the end of it, the world will always welcome them. And that's one thing that we need to understand, especially for someone like you. Let's say for you're in the limelight regards to your mixes. When you're mixing, just understanding and knowing this person from the point of view, it's just kuingia Instagram, kuona okay, so mtuka Limo Blaze tunajua, and all the other artists akina Modishot Baba and all that. Those ones we know regards to their Instagram, but for the ones that you know you might not know about, you just scroll and just look at their life. You get? Because one thing that we've realized is secular artists can also produce gospel music. But not all gospel music is God music. You understand? But that should not limit you from creating mixes. Because God will still move either way. This is something we don't understand as Christians. If a pastor is corrupt and he's still preaching from the word of God, people will still get saved. That does not mean that the pastor will still not be judged. And that's not what we are calling you to do. What we are calling you to do is to take that time and research before you decide to put out music. Just make sure you know all, and you're very knowledgeable of these artists. You just know the artists, na unajua, no matter what someone will come and say, you already know them. Because I know you do your research very well. So it's like mimi kukuja sai kukwambia awitwi Ymass au kuje banze wewe uitwi Ymass.
Yeah.
Si mimi nakwambia
Ymass, actually, for those who don't know, Ymass is my name Sami from behind. Yeah.
Sasa mimi nikuje nikwambie awitwi Ymass.
Yeah.
So imagine. So me trying to convince you for 5 minutes, utakata hapo unaniangalia tu una smile, si ndio? Because wewe unajua unaitwa Ymass. So unajaribu convince na it's the same thing that people try to do. People try to convince us that we are not who we say we are.
Yeah.
But now that's where knowing yourself, identity comes in. Because if you do not know who you are, people will define to you who you are. Na hiyo inamaanisha every single person that you meet will get to show you a different you if you don't know who you are. Because ukikana mimi nitakuja nikwambia Ymass anakuanga hivi na hivi na hivi. Ukienda ukae na Amelia atakuja kwambie Ymass huwa anakuanga hivi na hivi. So ukiwa na mimi utakuwa na act fulani, ukiwa na yeye utakuwa na njia nyingine, una get? But if you know you, you will not change your character just to keep Amelia. You will not change your character just to keep me. You'd rather lose me but keep your character and your values than uniweke so that you please me. You get? A man who cannot stand for anything will fall for everything. You get? The final remark. For the people who are watching, you can get to put on your encouragements hapo chini, by the way, and get to follow DJ Ymass. Actually, it's DJ Ymass mixes, yes. DJ Ymass mixes on YouTube, Instagram.
DJ Ymass.
DJ Ymass. So for the person that's watching this video, people have seasons. Leo tunaweza kuwa sawa, kesho ni sisi ndio itabidi tumewatch video. Una get? So you can imagine the life venye nakuanga. Sasa mimi nikienda niangalie kitu ama someone else or my cousin somewhere going through the same thing. What can you tell them? Kiangalia tu ile camera.
I think I will tell them to just keep on fighting, because it's really not easy. There are days you feel like you honestly want to live. There are days you don't feel like you want to live. And if you can just keep God around you. Keep God around you. Have a community as well. Don't be lonely by yourself. Have a community, whether be it church people or friends or whoever they may be. Just have a community with you. And if you can also go to the gym once in a while, just to release any call it bad energy or whatever it may be, or any frustrations you may be having. And also listen to some good music that will keep you hopeful or will keep you going, stuff like that. I think that will really help.
Nimekumbuka kitu sahi before we close. You spoke about Ymass, the rapper. How is that going? Are you thinking of going back? Have you stopped completely? Ndio tukuweke accountable?
So actually there's some music coming. And I've really postponed it. This month, I'm trying to see how I can put it, but I'd committed myself at least every month or every 2 months we have something cooking. So I think because of that, I'll honestly hit the studio one of these fine days, because I was planning to do it in a very different way, where I'll kind of record myself and stuff like that. But because I think I really also need that help from a production standpoint. So I think I'll get to hit the studio and let's see. But there's amazing stuff coming. I really miss, honestly, also like performing once in a while as a rapper and just giving people some good content and stuff like that. So I think we'll definitely work on that. The people who are listening are also perfectionists. I think they should also let go of that, because that is one hard thing I've had to let go of, being a perfectionist. Because what is it called?
It paralyzes you.
You're obsessed with being a perfectionist.
You can actually stop creating just because you feel like the thing you want to do is not perfect. Or even when umesema, you can create something and archive it just because you feel like maybe watu wakiona. But I think one thing that I'm learning also is put it out. You'd rather put out 1,000 songs that are not that good. For instance, one example I can give, na msicheke, Steve Simple Boy. This guy that started singing and people started laughing at him. Sasa yako wapi?
Dragon motor testing.
Imagine, the guy is an influencer, and not just locally, internationally. So it's just about and right now I think the bar has been dropped to such a low status because saa hii msee anaweza amua anaenda anaongea, literally someone talks, itwanga nini, gengeton ama urban tone, ni urban tone, ndio someone talks kwa ngoma and it becomes a song. So the bar is not high, which means anyone can attain that bar. Sindio?
Yeah.
It's literally, you don't have to have like a Mariah Carey voice, which, okay, I can't say I have that, but I have a very good voice. And one thing that I was saying about my bro is everyone can sing. The only thing you need to do is learn your voice, like understand your tones. Like where does your voice lie? Iko kwa bass, iko kwa alto, iko kwa tenor. I think when you master your voice, there's nothing you can't do. Yeah, so this is me shouting out to myself there. Yeah, also let's keep this, let's make this normal. Let's not make this something that people have to think this is a 1 year kind of check in. Let's make this a normal conversation where people can come and say, this is what I've been going through, but this is not who I am. This is where I desire to be, because that is what the church is about. The church is, not this one, like we have the church, we have made being vulnerable look like it's something that only unbelievers do. Like mtu ameokoka akikuja sema mazee jana nimenyonga monkey mazee. Jana mazee nimedoze na dem fulani. Mazee jana hata hizo ni rahisi. Jana nimedoze na bibia nani. Na bwana yake anajua. Na bwana yake anisema ni sawa. Unajua ni kumesta hapo huko nje. Unajua kuna kwanga na relationship kama hizo zinaitwanga open relationships. And if you can't be honest enough to confess your sins and understand that you're not confessing to that person because that person is flawed, they will also make a mistake. You're confessing to the Christ in them. You get? Meaning, even if they decide to make a mistake, it is not them you are confessing to. You are keeping yourself accountable. It's like forgiveness. You forgiving yourself for everything that you have said, for you not posting, for you removing the videos. There's what people think, but there's also what you think. Allowing God's forgiveness upon your life, because God has already forgiven us. Get? But now there's also you forgiving you, like I've been too hard on myself. You get? God ameshani forgive. Why am I not receiving this forgiveness? Kwa nini nimejiweka in a point where I can't receive anything? Unasikia hii maneno ya philosophy, vibrations. There's something you vibrate. Kama unatoa negative energy, ita receive na people negatively. You get? And if you emit positive, umeshisikia mtu anasema manze napendanga vibes zako. Because ukiwa manze unakuwa uko hyped. And then kuna mse mwingine akiwa wase hata hataki kukua. Because that's something you emit. And what you, as a man thinketh, so is he. And the mouth speaks from the abundance of the heart. People can sense these things. People discern. So, manze, be encouraged for every single person that's watching. And looking forward to the other specific, I have a lot of questions in my head, lakini nimesema tuachie tu hapo. For instance, relationships and other things that we will get to speak about. Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, this is the Spont podcast. Shout out to Amelia behind the scenes. And Paklas Baptist, obviously, we've not been chased away. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, be blessed.
Thank you.